Dear friends, you know what is the key difference between topper's answers and an average answer? The key difference is nothing but the ability to understand the key demand of the question. That's it. You write answers multiple times, 10 marker questions, 15 marker questions, 20 marker questions, and mostly you end up with the low scores. Your mentor gives you maybe 1.5 out of 10 or 2.5 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 15. So you feel disheartened always. Don't worry, my dears. Your answers will be scoring if you understand these basic elements. So today in this session we discuss on the basics of answer writing, basic elements one should understand when it comes to UPSC Civil Service Mains answer writing. Answer writing, that is part and parcel of your preparation. Prelims is just an entry exam, that is just a qualifier. And whatever the score you gain in your mains and interview, that will decide whether you are in or out in this exam. So your score in mains matters, especially your score in GS papers and your optional matters. How to write good answers, what are the basics of answer writing when it comes to UPSC Civil Service Examination. This video is mainly for those aspirants who have no idea about answer writing in UPSC Civil Service Examination. Let us start now. The first and foremost thing, yes, when you get a question, for example, in the mains examination, you all know that we have papers like, yes, there is an essay paper is there, there is general studies paper 1, general studies paper 2, okay, there is paper 3 and there is general studies paper 4. Plus you have optional subjects, 2 optional papers. Any optional subject, 2 papers. Now here coming to essays, you know that this is 250 marks. This is 250, this is 250. I mean GS1 is 250, GS2, GS3, GS4, all are 250. Each carries 250 marks. Now what is important here is, yes, let us take GS1, General Studies paper 1. General Studies paper 1, you know that what comes in this General Studies, history is there, yeah, culture is there. You have to study history, culture, you have to study geography, okay, you have to study society. All these are the major subjects you have to cover under mains GS1, General Studies paper 1. Now coming to this GS1, let us again take this GS1 paper. It's a total 20 questions are there. Yes, 10 marker questions are there and 15 marker questions are there. 10 marker questions, 15 marker questions are there. Now what is important here? If it is a 10 marker question, you have to write in 150 words. How many words? You have to write in 150 words. If it is a 10 marker question, write in 150 words. So 150 words means you know that, yeah, UPSC has double margin answer sheet. You might have seen this. Okay. If it is a 10 marker question, you have to write in 150 words. Yes, you can write in these 2 pages. A single sheet, 2 pages. Okay, page number 1, page number 2. Okay, if the question is 10 marker, 150 words you have to write, and for which you can use 2 pages of the single sheet. Okay, if it is 15 marker, you have to write 250 words. 250 words means you can write in 3 pages. You can write in, yes, you can write in 3 pages, double margin. UPSC always gives that double margin. Don't write anything in the margin. Okay, this is for the examiner to write. Okay, the marks and all, feedbacks and all. Here you have to write the content. Okay, So if it is 250 marks, 15 marker 250 words, not 250 marks, 250 words. If it is a 15 marker question and 250 words, 15 marker, 250 words, in that scenario, write 3 pages. Okay. So this is the basic understanding. So usually in GS papers we have 10 marker and 15 marker questions. Now the thing is, the first important thing is, yes, when you get a question, okay, 20 questions are there, okay, 10 questions can be 10 marker, 10 questions can be 15 marker. Okay, that way it is 250. Now the thing is, when you get a question, what should be your approach? First of all, read the question. You read the question. You read the question and try to trace the keywords. Trace the keywords. What are the keywords given in the question? Try to understand the keywords given in the question. Then, of course, the most important thing is like, demand. Actually, you try to understand what is the demand of the question. Okay, your focus must be on understanding the keywords of the question, understanding the totality or the total demand of the question. Okay, nothing else. You don't think about the value additions, don't think about the what kind of the diagrams and flowcharts and maps I have to bring into this, don't think about anything else. Just to think on, as soon as you get the question, read the question. You can read the question 2 times or 3 times. Okay, after reading the question, your first focus is try to understand what is the demand of the question. Try to trace the keywords out of the question. What are the keywords given here? What are the keywords? So there is a question, Bhakti Sufi saints, what was the nature of the Bhakti Sufi movements and their contributions? Okay, evaluate the nature of the Bhakti movements and their contributions. If that is the question, yes, of course, you have to evaluate. There is a directive, evaluate. Evaluate what? There is, the nature of the Bhakti movement, nature of Bhakti movement. Evaluate the nature of Bhakti movement. Then also there is another keyword which is contributions. Contributions of Bhakti movement, nature of Bhakti movement, contributions of Bhakti movement to Indian society. So these are the keywords. So that way, whenever you get a question, try to understand what is the central demand of the question. Okay. Different directives are used. You might have seen that in the question, there is a discuss or explain or evaluate or analyze or critically analyze or elucidate or trace or comment or substantiate. Different keywords are there. Actually, more or less, this will not make that much difference, but it is important. Try to understand what is the demand of the directives. Don't focus more into, don't do research into those directives and all. What was there like a character, nothing is required. Try to simply understand the meaning of the directives. That much is enough. Okay, more or less, your duty here is to understand the question wholly. In totality, try to understand the demand of the question, answer accordingly, for which understanding the meaning of the directives also matters. So the first thing in your answer writing, read the question carefully, try to trace out the keywords and try to understand what is the central demand of the question, central demand of the question. This is the first thing you have to do. Now see, flow of answer. So coming to this answer writing, while reading this question, along with the reading of the question, you can do that parallel brainstorming. Brainstorming is nothing but what all the content you have to bring into or how to frame this answer. This is all about framing an answer. This is all about bringing out the content to this answer. Content to the answer. Content to the answer. Okay, so do the brainstorming. For example, the same question I took, the previous year's question, evaluate the nature of Bhakti movements and contributions of Bhakti movements to Indian society. So you can do that brainstorming while reading this question multiple times. 2 times, 3 times you read the question, get an idea, according to this demand of question, what can I bring into my introduction? What ideas I can bring into my introduction? How can I start my answer with an introduction? or also the body part. What all things I have to bring into my body part. Okay, they are asking about the nature of bhakti movement. So you will have different perspectives, different dimensions. Nature, to talk about the nature of bhakti movements, different dimensions you can add. To talk about these particular contributions, you can add a different dimensions. That can be social contributions, cultural contributions, philosophical, ideological contributions, environmental contributions, linguistic contributions, different dimensions you can add. That way do the brainstorming, have an idea about the conclusion also, get an idea. You frame an outline in the mind itself while reading this question, reading out the question. Now you maintain a flow of answer. You know, when you write this answer from paragraph to paragraph, sentence to sentence, you maintain a connection. It should not be like that you written something totally deviated to another paragraph and deviated to the next. Should not be like that. When you answer it, this is not note making. Answering means it should have a flow. It should have a flow from the beginning to end. Intro, body, conclusion must be interconnected. That feel should be there. So maintain that coherence or flow of the answer writing. That is very important. Then the third thing, obviously, presentation and structuring. This is, see, in order to maintain that flow, your answer should have a structure. Answer should have a structure. That is introduction. Okay, introduction part is there. Body part is there. And conclusion is there. Okay, conclusion. Simply speaking, let me tell you, introduction is kind of a teaser. This is a kind of a teaser or a trailer to movie. Okay, on seeing the trailer of Bahubali, RRR, or this, what is Vikram, or whatever, you know, like whichever the movie you see, seeing the trailer, teaser, yes, the audience or the examiner should get an interest to go for or go to theater and watch the movie. So trailer, teaser should have an idea or should give an idea what you are going to discuss in the body. Okay, so it should be a curiosity generating intro or a simple intro, simple precise intro you give, but it should give at least an idea what you are going to discuss in the body. Now body is the handle, you know, the happening, the issue. Okay, or the relevant content related to that particular question. Now conclusion I would say this is the climax of a movie, just like the climax of a movie. Take it, it is for just for, you know, understanding in a very funny way. I would compare with a movie only. So there is a teaser or a trailer, then there is body, which is the main plot, or that is the main happening of the movie. Then the conclusion, which is the climax of the movie. Just like that, answer writing, there is introduction, there is body, there is conclusion, and conclusion is the edge of your answer, climax your answer. Conclusion should not be like you are reframing whatever you discussed in the body itself, repeating the same things which you discussed in the body in other words. That should not be the conclusion. Conclusion should be futuristic, conclusion should be way forward, conclusion should be problem solving, conclusion should be dynamic, conclusion should be positive. Okay. So those things your faculty will, your subject wise mentor will help you in every subject how to write a conclusion. But it is very important, your answer should have a structure, body, intro, body, conclusion, and it should be presentable. It should be presented in such a way that it maintain a logic. Okay, it maintain like an answer. You know, the element of answer should be there, answering the question rather than not making. Answer should not look like a not making. Okay. Then value addition. The question is whether you must have value addition in your answer writing. Yes, you can have the value additions with the pie diagrams. Okay, you can have the diagrams. Value addition can be like this. You can use the maps. The maps are there, diagrams are there. Okay, diagrams are there, or you can use the flow charts. You can use the flow charts. Okay, you can use the flow charts, or you can use this what is called for example the chords if it is necessary. If it is necessary, then only you can use the chords. You can use the case studies. You can use the case studies if it is necessary. Okay, or the examples. So all those things can be added as value addition. Nothing wrong in that. Underlining or not, this is another question. This is another question. Most of the students are confused. Underlining, you know, underlining means you just underline the keywords only, whichever you feel that examiner must notice this. Okay, the most important keywords only, such things whichever you feel that they are very important part of answer writing, or maybe there are very crucial things the examiner must notice. Such words only you underline. It should not be like everything you underline, like the ruling paper. It should not be like that. Don't underline each and every word in the answer writing. Underline only these valid key points which you feel. Paragraph or bullet points. I would say that in an answer writing, you have the choice. But it is always decent if you follow that mixed version. Mixed version means, yes, let this intro, paragraph, conclusion also, paragraph, and body part I would say that you can use, body can be like a mixture of this para and para plus bullet points. Okay, that way you can write decent answers, because if you use only bullet points, it is quite difficult for examiner, quite difficult for this student even to correlate the ideas you try to convey in the answer or between the points. So always try to use paragraphs with plus bullet points format. Okay, paragraphs should be, it should not be lengthy paragraphs, use short paragraphs. Short paragraphs. And between the paragraphs you maintain a coherence of idea. Okay. Or a logical flow of idea. Whatever the idea you are discussing, let it connect with each other. Okay. Now word limit or page limit, which I already told you. For 10 marker, 150 words. For 15 marker, it is 250 words. And here the page, it is 2 pages maximum. Here it is 3 pages. Okay, then speed, it matters. Initially, when you write answers, actually here the real challenge is every single paper, you are taking this GS1, 250 marks. Now the challenge is like, you will get to 3 hours time. 3 hours time. The challenge is you have to write 20 questions. 20 questions you have to answer. You have to answer 20 questions. 10 questions are 10 marker, 10 questions can be the 15 marker. Now writing this much answers in 3 hours, that matters a lot. You have to answer all the questions. If you really wish to become a topper, or you want to clear this exam, attempt almost all the questions in a decent way. You are attempting 10 questions extra brilliantly and leaving the 10 questions does not make any sense. Try to attempt all the 20 questions in a decent way. If you think that way, a 10 marker question, writing 150 words, you have to finish it off in 6 point or maybe just in 6 minutes or 6.5. You see, that is the limit for a 10 marker question. If it is a 15 marker question, I would say that you finish in 11 minutes maximum. Maximum. Okay. So here maximum you take 7 minutes. Fine. Here you take 11 minutes. You see, this is a challenge here. This is actually a challenge. Initially when you write answers, you can't come up to this level of speed or pace. Initially you may take for a single 150 words answer or a 10 marker answer, you may take 20 minutes or sometimes 30 minutes. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Initially you take time. Doesn't matter. You take time, doesn't matter, but gradually you will pick up with the pace of answer writing. So that you please take care. So speed of answer writing, initially don't worry about the speed of answer writing, pace of answer writing, gradually you will pick up, okay. But in the actual exam, please keep in the mind that a single answer, 150 words answer, you have to finish it off in just 6 to 7 minutes. That is a real challenge, okay. Margin, you know that UPSC, you always practice answer writing, that is in this the answer sheets with the margins, double margins. Practice in such papers so that you will get an idea according to your handwriting, your way of writing, how many words you bring into a single line, how many lines you bring into a single page. So those words into lines, you will get an idea how many words you bring into a single page. Accordingly, you can decide how many pages required for answer writing. Now conclusion. Conclusion, I would always say that different areas regarding conclusion. Conclusion is not always the same. Conclusion is not always the same. GS1 has a different strategy of writing conclusion. This GS2 and GS3, they have different approach, but GS4 is having again different approach. Now conclusion, it is not like you are by-hearting some conclusion ideas and you are like vomiting into, you are putting into every answers. That will not work out. Answer should not look monotonous, okay. So here you see, coming to GS1, for example, if I take GS1 also, if I take a GS1 also, GS1, let me tell you, there you have history answers, you have this geography answers, you have society answers. All these have different approach of conclusion. Okay, all these have different approaches of conclusions. So conclusion, generally speaking, let me tell you, conclusion has to be futuristic. One idea. Now what is futuristic, that I will tell you with various answers. It has to be futuristic. It has to be, sometimes it has to be expert opinion based, especially coming to this ancient history or medieval history answers and all. Expert opinion based. It has to be dynamic, especially the society answers and all, GS2, GS3 and all. It has to be dynamic. It has to be like way forward. Okay, so different ideas are there coming to conclusions. I will give you how to frame futuristic conclusions, expert opinion based conclusions, dynamic conclusions, or way forward problem solving conclusions. I will give you these conclusion ideas with the different question solving. Okay, so try to understand these are different ideas I contribute to your conclusion. And conclusion, not only conclusion, and their answer has to be innovative. Your idea should not be like this, I will just copy paste to the topper's answers. I will just copy paste to the topper's answers. I will just copy paste these best answers, the so-called best answers I have seen on various platforms. That will not save you. Your answer has to be very organic. Okay, answer has to be organic, answer has to be innovative. Okay, then only your answer will be. And most importantly, make sure that your answer directly hit the demand of question. Demand of question. This part is also important. Now handwriting, there is a question you asked about the handwriting. Is there anything which is related to handwriting? Let me tell you, handwriting, talking about a handwriting, see, a handwriting, my idea is let it be legible, that's it. Handwriting, it is not necessary it should look like a Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan or Aishwarya Rai. Okay, not to be, I mean, don't invest so much time into beautifying, because I heard certain funny things like this. People invest a lot of time making their handwriting a beautiful one. They are taking extra course for writing, beautiful handwriting. Actually, that thing is not required here, yeah. Your handwriting only, they say that handwriting has to be legible. Handwriting has to be readable. It has to be readable. Handwriting should not be like that. It is the script of the Indus civilization, Harappan civilization, boast of and script. Using signs and symbols you written, nothing is, readable. It should not be like that. Handwriting should be legible, readable, that's it. No need to, even if your handwriting is not that much beautiful, no need to spend a lot of time into that. But make sure your handwriting is legible, readable. Okay. So these are the basic things I share with you guys. Now coming to a previous year question, this is a GS1 question. This GS1 question, culture question. Okay, previous year question. The question is evaluate. Evaluate means you come up with a conclusion. You come up with a conclusion, or you come up with a decision, or you come up with a fair judgment. Fair, yes, a fair judgment. You come up with a fair judgment or a fair conclusion or a fair decision after having, yes, after having close analysis on, or after analyzing the pros and cons, pros and cons of this given subject. Okay, after having the a closer analysis of the pros and cons of the given subjects, you come up with a fair conclusion, fair judgment. That is what evaluate. Now see what you have to evaluate here. The nature of the bhakti, the nature of the bhakti literature, nature of the bhakti literature, nature of the bhakti literature and its contribution. It's not bhakti movement, it is bhakti literature. The nature of the bhakti literature and its contribution to Indian culture, and its contribution to Indian culture. Okay, so this is the question. In this question, you will have to come up with a fair judgment or conclusion or a decision after having a very very keen examination or analysis of the pros and cons of the given subject. Here you have to, yes, focus on, yes, the contributions, sorry, the nature of the Bhakti literature and its contribution to Indian culture. You have to write in 150 words. Okay, when you go for this answer, first of all, in the intro, you will have an idea. You will talk about what? Yes, in the intro, you will definitely talk about. In the intro, you will definitely talk about this Bhakti movement. Am I right? Bhakti movement. Intro can be in 2 or 3 lines. So, Bhakti movement, you can just talk about its timeline. Which century to which century this Bhakti movement flourished in Indian subcontinent. You can talk about the timeline. If you have, you can talk about the main stakeholders or its significant contribution, whatever. Okay, we can start that way, introduction. Coming to the body, first of all, you have to discuss on the nature of the Bhakti literature. The nature of the Bhakti literature. Nature of the Bhakti literature, you should say that, yes, this was in local languages. Vernacular literature, vernacular languages, okay. Bhakti literature, it is spread, it's a composition, it's a compilation, or it's a spread, it was in the local languages. Then see that inclusiveness, there is inclusiveness, there is the literature, it was devotional in nature, it was having an unorthodox approach, non-sectarian approach, inter-regional approach, okay, or inter-religious approach, all those things are there. For example, Baba Farid and his compositions and influence of the Sikh literature, Sikh poetry, that things you can mention. Okay, in the regional approach, you can see that Ramacharita it has, like, you know, like it impacted other parts of, or it influenced the literature of the other parts of India also. So these are some points which you can bring into this particular heading. What is that? Nature of Bhakti literature. Under this heading, you can discuss, yes, various features, various elements which discuss the nature of the Bhakti literature. Now there is a second part of the answer. Second part of the answer is what? That is contributions. The contributions of the Bhakti literature. So contributions, definitely you have to say what all the contributions. Yes, most importantly, you will talk about that philosophical revival, or many schools of philosophies, different schools of philosophies being like revived and being emerged. So different schools of philosophies, and obviously you know that these various art forms, it nourished various art forms, music traditions, etc. Then again, this resulted in this growth of these vernacular languages and the spread of the idea of this social equality. You can talk about Ramanujacharya or various other like Bhakti saints and the literary works. Okay, it promoted this idea of what is called inclusiveness. So whatever, you just to talk about the contributions, you can talk about the contributions. And since the word is evaluate, you discussed its nature of the Bhakti literature and contributions. Also, there is a hidden area which is not directly said in the question, but since the keyword is evaluate, you have to also discuss on its other side. When we say the contributions, it has some minus points also. For example, let us say it did not completely break down from this orthodoxy. Okay, not completely break down from this orthodoxy. Or let us say that these were mostly devotional in nature. So there is no complete breakdown from this religion or religious hierarchies and religious customs. Okay, and also there is no political awakening. This literature never caused any political awakening. To some extent, you know, even though they discussed on the social reforms, never strongly advocated for the social reforms. So just to talk about some minor side also. But the conclusion, after discussing that, that can be done in 2 to 3 lines, enough. Okay. After that, in the conclusion you say, it's a long-term impact. Okay. For example, how it contributed to this renaissance of medieval India. Renaissance of medieval India, or how it contributed to this modern India's awakening, especially national movement, etc. What the spirit is drawn from this particular Bhakti movement. So that things can be brought into the conclusion. So what I say is like always it is necessary to understand demand of the question, and answering the question it is always according to demand of the questions. Okay. So this also all of you please take care, and that's it. Go for it, and please subscribe our channel for more videos, and plus for our history optional we have a separate channel, UPSC History Optional by Justin George. So you just subscribe that channel if your optional is history, because we come up with a more quality oriented, exam oriented videos to support you. So that is for today. All the best. Thank you.